Female.
Female.
Working class.
Broke.
City girl.
Country.
University student.
Student.
Chronically ill.
Mentally ill.
Miranda Gallopayton.
Stephanie Wright.
For this research project, we decided to study external media factors and interpersonal relationships to see how these different messages would have an impact on how we feel about our supposedly environmentally conscious lifestyle. We also wanted to see how identity would play a role in these different feelings. Whether or not growing up in the country would make you feel a certain way about maybe going vegetarian, or how growing up in the city could have an impact on you bringing your reusable mug everywhere. And whether or not we felt more shame or more guilt or just angry about the state of the world. This research project was guided by the following research question. How does the media and other external factors impact our feelings towards our environmentally conscious lifestyle choices? And our hypothesis was, the predominant feelings that will emerge are shame and anxiety. We also came up with a secondary research question, which was, are our unique identities and backgrounds impacting these feelings? Which we hypothesized, our identities are the predominant influence guiding these feelings.
The main field sites we looked at for this project were the teach-in, home, on transit, and then in class and on campus. The main factors we looked at for this were our interpersonal relationship, videos we consumed on YouTube, and then our social media habits. So for the study, we did autoethnographic field notes. We took notes of our different thoughts and feelings when consuming different messages. We took these by hand and then later transposed them into a Word document so that it was easier for us to code, as well as that we could edit out some personal information. So for our coding, we focused on 5 main factors: anger, which included annoyance and frustration; anxiety, which included nervousness, sadness, or being shameful. We also coded one note as hopefulness. We had conflictedness, which also included being uncomfortable. And then our last and main point was identity. So why we coded these the way we did is because we felt that these were the most prevalent and reflective of the notes and what we were seeing in them.
In terms of our main findings for this project, we found that the most common emotion did confirm our hypothesis. So we were most often anxious, which we coded 25 times out of 47 different emotions in our field notes. In terms of how our identity played a role in these factors, out of 16 field notes, 11 times we saw a correlation between how we were feeling and how our identity made us feel that way.
Our more qualitative findings for this project were based mainly off of our identities. While looking more into these identifying factors, both of us found that our financial situation and social class were a huge drive in our feelings towards the environmentally friendly lifestyles. We both coded our bodies and health status as an identifier, but for different reasons. And I found that growing up in the country made a huge impact on how I received these messages, as well as how I felt about these environmentally friendly diets.
For myself, I found that gender as an identifying feature played a huge role in how I was interpreting these messages about being more eco-friendly, because I felt as if, as a woman, I carried more weight and responsibility in being environmentally conscious than other genders. In terms of the bigger picture and the implications of this project, we really hope that this starts a conversation about realizing the webs that you're stuck in as an individual in the time of climate crisis. A lot of the action that can actually be done is out of our control. As an individual, we can only do so much. It's really important to analyze how the factors outside of our control, like the media or our friends, have an impact on what we're feeling inside. But also how these internal factors, who we are, where we grew up, our financial situation, how those are in turn impacting these external messages. Essentially, our project wants to show that everything in terms of this idea of identity and the climate crisis is all a web. It's kind of a mess, but everything's impacting each other, so we need to start looking at that a bit more critically.